The matrix is a grid system that provides the light required to maintain a physical representation of consciousness through the human body. The matrix on Earth was hijacked by those who have dominated us for millennia through frequency technology and changes to the human body through DNA manipulation. This new matrix that we are entering is allowing the human body to ascend physically in a higher dimensional reality. Light workers and galactic intervention are bringing in this new grid while the old one slowly dissolves. Humans that are on the ascension path have been tuning into this new matrix. Basically, this new matrix will have better firewalls so it's less likely to get hacked. Back when the old matrix was created, there was a detail left out. When Earth was seeded with the human race, our creators, Pleiadians, left our planet to grow and evolve while attending other projects. One day these creators found out that Earth and the human race was being hijacked. It took a long time to figure out how it was taken over because they could only see what humans were seeing while interfacing with the program with their free will. As programmers, they are also able to look into the future to see possible outcomes of the co-creation using our free will program. They were alarmed to see that pretty much every outcome lead to the destruction of their creation. So, this is a reason the incarnation process with souls from the original matrix began. Remember my posts on Pangaea, Lemuria, and Atlantis? Meaning, everything that is happening now all connects back to our original seeding of Earth. It all connects. Our creators started investigating what had happened, so, with these incarnations of the original matrix, they would report back to these original creators through linear time. It's kind of what some of us are doing right now and you don't even realize it. The data of every thought, emotion and experience we are having about the world around us is being sent back to our guides, which are highly advanced beings from very advanced civilizations. These creators of ours found out that black magic was being used. The use of very low, negative frequency programming on our subliminal consciousness through means of fear. They also found that the physical changes to the body kept humans from progressing as a species and were more geared toward slavery. Meaning, the devastating DNA manipulation that was done to us. A loop of reincarnations were taking place and the human species could no longer remember their past lives and that they were all connected to each other and their source. Many of these original grid workers of the original matrix have incarnated in our current reality as light workers. So, when you hear people, and I'm one of them, that will tell you that we are from Pleiadian lineage, Arcturian lineage, Lyron, Andromedan, etc., this is why. We are hybrids. Everything connects off-world. Their purpose is to wake themselves up and humanity out of this old matrix, and by doing this they are collectively moving humanity into the new matrix for all to tune into. Many people carry the codes of this new matrix, and while they are building themselves, they are making a path for the whole of humanity towards this higher reality. Lots of humanity are making the conscious decision to vibrate in the frequency of love instead of fear. A major step. The DNA we carry has all the codes of everything we have experienced in our past, present, and our future lives. As we can see in our world today, the old program is breaking down. It is said, and I've said it many times, that what is happening in our reality has never happened before. Shifting from one hologram to another while in such a physical state. It was tested in predictive programming software and it was achievable. Again, I know this is hard for many to grasp, but the human species is part of a grand experiment. Anytime the programmers wanted to make a change in the past, they followed the rule of allowing the cycle to end and had to decide what cataclysmic event was going to wipe out the human population while keeping the best specimens to bring in the new changes. Many argue humanity will go through a cleansing brought on by fire, some are steadfast on disease. I say we will see. This time we will ascend in the human form and will decide to keep it or morph into our light body form or use a combination of both. Many of you are experiencing ascension symptoms. Fever, chills, vertigo, heart palpitations, headaches, intense ear ringing, flu-like symptoms and many other bizarre symptoms that doctors have no answers for. Many of us have connected to this new matrix on the consciousness level, connecting to it while asleep. While waking, we bring these geometric codes with us into this reality. Meaning, the physical body is now catching up to the spiritual body and is changing on a cellular level. This has been gradually happening for many years, but because of the accelerated activity of the hijackers, our ascension has also accelerated. Flowing and grounding with this higher frequency is very important in this transformation. Also, tuning into your multi-dimensional self and the knowledge and insight that comes with it is essential to this grid work. Tuning into this new frequency will allow us to experience a new holographic reality. Eventually, we'll be able to switch from our physical body to our light body back to our physical form. We will be able to manifest and demanifest everything into our physical reality that does not serve us anymore, like concrete and electrical lines, etc. Free energy will sustain our living requirements and travel will become much easier. The monetary enterprise will be a thing of the past. Eventually, the human will have superhuman abilities. How soon we can achieve this individually and as a whole is all up to us. How does the situation look like today, after the events that DNI narrated in Operation the Fourth Universe, Parts 1 to 10, Duel, Parts 1 to 11, Whipsaw, Parts 1 to 10, and hundreds other posts in the last few years? If very briefly, the former, third local universe no longer exists, and now, the remnants of its matrix are being cleansed from duality and all the negativity brought and created by the darks and grays, all their civilizations. In the new, fourth universe, there will be only the light of the absolutes. Co-creators rooted the multiverse of our 3D planet in the pleroma, absolutes abode in 14D, made and activated the new, absolutizes Earth's logos and causal matrix, soft, codes, OS, anchored them in the new terrestrial matrix, for present, in test mode, and placed into it some light warriors groups to see how everything works. How do they feel the changes? So far, very unusual and quite tough, weakness, dizziness and prostration, despite that many have absolutized monads. The main reason is that co-creators were forced to temporarily upload to the new planetary matrix also all the previous 3D software that supported darks and grays, their system, power pyramid, agenda, and overall control over Earth. On the one hand, the co-creators' maneuver helped to circumvent this control and avoid the rejection reaction that thwarted the previous attempt to activate the new causal matrix through the former darks' 3D logos, now annihilated. On the other hand, the temporary coexistence of two softs prolongs global chaos and hype at least until the Guan Yin's karmic loan settled. See Whipsaw, Part 7, DNI, April 30, 2023. Events have speeded up, yet in some ways it also seems to be dragging its feet, and many of us start to become anxious or impatient, seeing that ostensibly nothing had changed. Such perception is misleading. The erosion of 3D software, three-dimensional matter and energy, on which the power of the darks and grays on Earth rests, does not stop 24/7, which they categorically ignore, naively believing that they will survive in their underground shelters. In the meantime, they bargain for their lives, destroying us as hostages by crises, wars, pandemics, and artificial cataclysms. But Earth they created exclusively for selves millions of years ago no longer exists. Its matrix was destroyed on February 19, 2023. Yes, for a while, the planet remains in 3D, but its bottom of dimensionality has already been raised by co-creators very close to 4D, from 3.14D to 3.85D. This is a new primary and reference constant of our reality, the starting point of all physical properties, states, and laws of our space-time continuum. It's the basis of the basics, the upgraded primal code of our new matrix. Correction of all laws of physics, constants of matter and energy, continents' shapes, positions in orbit, etc., is in full swing. Grandiose changes occur in living nature, biological forms of life, first of all, in us. There will be many other cardinal differences and revolutionary innovations in the updated 3D Earth. In the new planetary matrix, our free will and choice freedom are significantly expanded. It is backed by a great degree of trust in us on the part of the higher light forces, co-creators, and the absolutes. As well as for us, this means an incomparably greater measure of responsibility for the consequences of our thoughts and actions, both for ourselves, for others, for Earths and its causal matrices as a whole. The wider diapason embedded in the matrix also enhances our abilities and capacities of the senses. We will have an expanded sight angle, that is, field of view of the surrounding world. The spectral range of perceived reality will be increased. We could see previously invisible layers of reality that some animals see. The organs of superphysical perception of the subtle plane will be activated with clairvoyance and clairaudience, which is currently inaccessible to most people. Our sensing of the new reality will also change. It will become clearer, with a higher resolution, deeper, more saturated in colors, with more minute details. As, for example, differ HD monitor and 4K. But not everything is so simple. To perceive a picture of this quality, we need more powerful computing resources of our brain, better RAM, faster information processing, etc. Today, in the vast majority, the percentage of brain use is 3 to 5%, DNA, 2 helices, very rarely, 12, genome, 25–30%, therefore, the urgent task of the near future is the massive disclosure of latent resources of the body, and not only for those who are now passing into 4D and 5D. The new matrix is reliably protected from any unauthorized interference from the outside, as, unfortunately, happened with its previous version. As a result of the criminal actions of the former chief programmer Caladion, Darks received the access code to any person and the ability to influence him, up to full control and run. See Duel, Part 5, DNI, December 27, 2022. The Pleroma's programmers took into account this sad experience, and drew conclusions. In the new matrix, it will be technically impossible to remotely control a person through his sacred individual access code and its identification by matrix. The impossibility of unauthorized access and hacking will be guaranteed in approximately the same way as it is provided by car alarm systems. Previously, in the latter was a static, permanent, access code. When we put the car on the alarm, the attackers used a code grabber to intercept and record it. And when we left, they applied another device to transmit it to the car, and its alarm system, recognizing its code, was deactivated. Fixing this vulnerability, manufacturers abandoned static code and switched to dynamic coding. The data that comes from the driver's key fob to the main alarm control unit via the radio channel is constantly changing. Each subsequent command is a new unique code that the system has never used before. In response, the hijackers created a dynamic grabber that creates mush and intercepts the signal. When we get out of the car and press the key fob button, they produce strong radio interference. The signal with the code does not reach the alarm control unit, but it is intercepted and copied by the grabber. Surprised, we press the button again, but the process repeats, and the second code is also intercepted. From the second time, the car is put on protection, but the command comes from the thief's device. When we calmly walk away, the hijacker sends a second, previously intercepted code and removes the car from protection. Manufacturers solved this problem as well. They began to install two buttons on the key rings, one puts the car on protection, and the second deactivates it. Accordingly, different codes were sent to install and remove the prot. Therefore, no matter how much interference the thief puts, he will never receive the code required to deactivate the alarm. But dynamic codes have also become vulnerable. Attackers have hacked a large number of coding algorithms. To solve the problem, manufacturers began to use dialogue coding of the signal. Encryption of this type occurs in the dialogue mode between the keychain and the alarm control unit in the car. When we press the button, a command execution request is sent from the key fob. In order for the control unit to make sure that the command came from our keychain, it sends a signal with a random number to the keychain. This number is processed according to a certain algorithm and sent back to the control unit. At this time, the control unit processes the same number and compares its result with the result sent by our keychain. If the values match, the control unit executes the command. The algorithm by which calculations are performed on the keychain and control unit is strictly individual for each car and is set in it at the factory. Cracking a person's consciousness was very similar to hacking car alarms. But the car was only stolen, and we are zombified and completely subordinated. In the new Matrix, this will be completely eliminated with the help of a dynamic dialogue algorithm for encoding an individual access code, which the Matrix will constantly update. Love your galactic friend.